The 1980s gave us spaceships, time travel, glowing computers, and big ideas wrapped in neon light. It was a decade when science fiction didn't just imagine the future, it felt like the future. But not every great sci fi film became a hit. Some were overshadowed by bigger blockbusters, some confused audiences, some were marketed badly. Some were simply too strange, too quiet, or too emotional for their time. And slowly, they disappeared. Until people started finding them again on late night TV, worn VHS tapes, and dusty video store shelves. And these are the films that stayed with you, the ones that felt different, the ones that deserved more. Enemy Mine, 1985. At first glance, Enemy Mine looks simple. A human pilot, an alien pilot, a war between their species. They crash on the same hostile planet. One of them will survive. That's what you expect. But the movie quietly becomes something else. Dennis Quaid plays a human soldier trained to hate the alien enemy. Louis Gossett Jr. plays the alien, strange, proud, intelligent, and deeply emotional beneath the makeup. Stranded together, they try to kill each other. Then they try to avoid each other. Then they talk. They learn each other's language. They argue, they laugh. They survive storms, hunger, loneliness, and loss. And slowly, hatred turns into understanding. Enemy Mine isn't really about aliens or space battles, it's about fear, about how easy it is to hate what we don't understand, and how powerful it is when that hate disappears. The studio expected a hit. Instead, the movie struggled. Critics were mixed, audiences were unsure. The box office was disappointing. It wasn't flashy enough, not violent enough, not simple enough. But over the years, people kept rediscovering it and realizing how rare it was. A science fiction movie brave enough to be gentle. The Final Countdown, 1980. This is one of those films that live forever on VHS. You'd see the cover, a modern aircraft carrier, jets in the sky, a storm twisting through time. The USS Nimitz, one of the most powerful ships in the world, is suddenly thrown back to 1941. Days before Pearl Harbor, no one believes it. Then they see the planes, the uniforms, the date. And suddenly the question becomes dangerous. If you could stop history's greatest tragedy, would you? Or would changing the past destroy everything? The Final Countdown is pure 80s adventure sci-fi. Real Navy jets, real ships, big engines, Cold War tension. It should have been a massive hit, but it wasn't. Audiences didn't know what to make of its serious tone. It wasn't flashy like Star Wars, it wasn't comedic. It ended quietly, almost sadly, so it faded. But people who saw it never forgot it, because the idea stayed in your head, even after the credits. Some moments are too big to change. Starman, 1984. Not all science fiction is cold metal and lasers. Starman begins with loss, a woman mourning her husband, a light falling from the sky, and a visitor who takes human form. By copying the man she loved, Jeff Bridges plays the alien, awkward, gentle, curious, learning what love is by watching how humans behave. Karen Allen plays the woman forced to travel across America with him while government agents hunt them. It becomes a road movie, a love story, a quiet meditation on what makes someone human. The movie doesn't rush, it breathes, it listens, it lets moments linger. Starman received good reviews. Jeff Bridges was even nominated for an Oscar. But it never became iconic. It was too soft, too emotional, too small next to the big sci-fi franchises. Yet today it feels timeless. A reminder that science fiction can be kind. Miracle Mile, 1988. Miracle Mile begins like a romantic comedy. A man meets a woman. They miss their chance. He searches for her across Los Angeles. Then at 2:30 in the morning, a phone rings. He answers. And a stranger tells him, nuclear war has started. The missiles are coming. And no one believes him. What follows is one of the most intense third acts in 80s cinema. Panic spreads, people run, cars crash, families break apart. The sky becomes a threat. There are no heroes, no time to save the world. Just people trying to hold on to someone they love before everything ends. The movie shocked audiences. They expected something light. They got existential terror. It failed at the box office. But those who saw it never forgot it. Miracle Mile feels closer to real fear than most disaster films. No speeches, no comfort, just the sound of time running out. Night of the Comet, 1984. Now for something completely different. A red comet passes over Earth. Most people turn into dust. Some become zombies. And two teenage sisters wake up to find Los Angeles empty. Night of the Comet is fun. Strange, darkly funny, and quietly sad beneath the neon colors. It mixes mall culture, Valley Girl humor, and end of the world loneliness. There are laser guns, shopping sprees, abandoned streets, and moments of total silence. It wasn't a hit. Studios didn't know how to market it. Too funny for horror, too dark for comedy, too weird for mainstream sci fi, but it became a cult classic because it understood something special. The apocalypse doesn't always look epic. Sometimes it looks like empty parking lots and wind blowing through paper. Cherry 2000, 1987. Cherry 2000 takes place in a future that feels dusty, broken, and strangely familiar. Society has collapsed, technology still exists, but emotions are treated like programming errors. Real relationships are messy, so people buy perfect robotic partners instead. Sam's companion is Cherry, beautiful, polite, designed to never argue. When she breaks, he risks everything to get her repaired. That journey drags him out of the safe cities into a wild wasteland filled with mercenaries, forgotten towns, and dangerous people who live by their own rules. Along the way, he meets E. Johnson, a tough, real woman who doesn't behave like a machine. And slowly, he realizes what he's been missing. The film blends romance, post-apocalyptic adventure, and quiet melancholy. It isn't flashy, it doesn't explain everything, it just lets the world exist. When Cherry 2000 was released, critics dismissed it. Audiences ignored it, it vanished. But years later, people found it on late night TV and old videotapes. Now it's loved for its strange heart. A movie about choosing imperfect humanity over perfect emptiness. Solar Babies, 1986. Solar Babies was supposed to be big, young heroes, roller skating warriors, a glowing mystical orb, an evil dictatorship. Everything studios thought teenagers would love. But something went wrong. The tone was strange. The story was serious, the world was bleak, audiences didn't know how to react, it bombed hard, critics were brutal, but the movie became a joke. And yet, there's something sincere inside Solar Babies. It takes place in a future where water is controlled by tyrants. Children are trained like soldiers. Hope is illegal. The glowing orb represents life itself, freedom, nature. The film believes in innocence, in rebellion, in the idea that even broken worlds can be healed. Over time, it gained fans, people who grew up watching it, people who felt its strange sincerity. It's flawed, but honest, and very, very 80s. The Navigator, A Medieval Odyssey, 1988. This one is special. In medieval England, villagers believe the world is ending. The Black Plague is spreading. They think the only way to stop it is to reach the edge of the earth. They dig into a tunnel and emerge in 1980s New Zealand. Cars, lights, concrete, helicopters, television. To them, it's magic. To us, it's normal. The film switches from black and white medieval life to cold modern color. Technology becomes terrifying. Church bells become industrial monsters. Electricity becomes divine fire. It's quiet, thoughtful, almost spiritual. Audiences didn't understand it. It wasn't exciting enough, not funny enough, not dramatic enough, but today it's considered a hidden masterpiece, a film about faith meeting science, about innocence meeting progress, about how time itself can be the greatest culture shock. Kinzadza, 1986. Then there's this, one of the strangest science fiction films ever made. A Soviet comedy about two ordinary men accidentally teleported to a desert planet where society is divided into ridiculous social classes. People wear bells, say strange words, value nonsense over logic. It's funny, then sad, then terrifying, then funny again. It's a satire about class, about power, about how absurd human systems really are. In the West, almost nobody saw it. It was too foreign, too strange, too slow. But in Eastern Europe, it became legendary, a cult phenomenon, quoted endlessly, loved deeply. Today, film lovers around the world recognize its brilliance, a comedy hiding deep despair. Sex Mission, 1984. Finally, Sex Mission. Two men volunteer for a sleep experiment. They wake up decades later and discover all men are believed extinct. The world is run entirely by women. History has been rewritten. Lies have become law. It's funny, sharp, political, brave, and completely unexpected. In Poland and across Europe, it became one of the most beloved sci-fi comedies ever made. But outside Europe, almost unknown. It was never widely released, never properly marketed, never dubbed well. Yet it remains one of the smartest sci-fi satires of the decade. The 1980s weren't just about explosions and laser battles. They were about ideas. Fear of the future, hope for connection, loneliness, technology replacing humanity. and sometimes movies that were simply too strange to succeed. These films didn't win opening weekends, they didn't sell toys, they didn't build franchises, but they stayed alive. In memories, and in late night television, and dusty tapes, and people who never forgot how they felt watching them. That's real success.